Have you ever stared at a blank page knowing you need to write your family history, but the words just won't flow? What if I told you that artificial intelligence could help? AI writing tools are popping up everywhere, but which ones actually help family history writing? And which ones might lead you astray? Well, today, we'll explore some popular AI writing platforms and discuss how they can help you and how they can't. Now, over the years, I've written about 120 ancestors in a single year and published 2 family history narratives. I know that most writing advice, in my experience, helps after you've written a rough draft. So, having written so much without the help of AI, how can AI help you write quickly like I did? AI writing tools promise to make writing easier by generating text, organizing ideas, and improving readability. That sounds fantastic, right? But here's the catch. Most AI tools weren't designed for genealogy. They excel at general writing, but they struggle with personal, historical, and factual accuracy. That means you need to guide them carefully if you want quality results. Genealogists can use several AI tools to help them write their family histories. Have you tried any of these? If so, which ones do you like? I would really like to have an discussion in the comments after this video about the ins and outs of the ones you've tried. Now, this video won't go into a comparison of each one, but let's cover some universal strategies for whichever one you decide works best. Plus, chances are these principles are going to work no matter what happens in the Wild West of AI tools. If you, like me, are new to using AI for writing family history, you might have told one of these models to write a 200-word biography of your great-grandfather, John Smith, who was born in 1885 in Texas and worked as a railroad engineer. If you've used ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and the ones I showed you before, you probably had results very similar to what I did in the video, How ChatGPT Failed to Write My Family History. If you haven't seen that video, link it in the description box. But remember, it was made a couple years ago and we were all just trying to figure out how it works. But if you've left wondering why did it fail or why is the story not turning out as well, recognize that AI language models are great for generating a quick draft, but can struggle again with accuracy. I think you're going to hear that over and over, no matter who you listen to. These tools don't inherently understand genealogy. They rely on common patterns rather than verified facts. These patterns come from the vast amount of general biographical data AI models have been trained on, such as historical trends, commonly repeated life stories, and frequently mentioned professions or events. When given minimal details, AI tends to fill in the gaps using these patterns rather than pulling from real, verifiable sources. For instance, if an ancestor was a railroad engineer in the early 1900s, AI might assume they worked for a well-known railroad company of the time, even if your ancestor's actual employer was a smaller, lesser-known operation. Another major issue is that AI often conflates 2 different individuals with the same name, pulling in details from unrelated people. For example, if you ask an AI to write about your great-grandfather John Smith, it may blend information from multiple John Smiths, creating a misleading or entirely incorrect narrative. Because of this, AI-generated family narratives require you to do a lot of fact-checking. The best way to use AI for family history writing is to provide it with accurate, verified details about your ancestor, and then use the tool to refine, enhance, or structure the story, not to create it from nothing. So first, upload or copy and paste well-researched facts about John Smith. Then use this prompt, you're a family historian with an engaging voice, to capture the interest of family members who aren't into genealogy. Based on the facts provided, write a compelling, historically accurate narrative about John Smith. By structuring your input this way, you ensure AI tools work within the framework of verified information rather than filling in gaps with assumptions or misleading details. But they still like to make things up, so always double check AI's work. Instead of asking AI to generate a full biography at once, work with smaller sections like childhood, career, or migration story. This helps maintain accuracy and control over the narrative. If a passage feels clunky, ask AI to rewrite it for better readability while keeping the original meaning intact. Run the same prompt a few times and compare results. AI-generated text varies, so choosing the best version or blending elements from multiple drafts can improve quality. You might also learn a thing or two about some different writing practices that you can then leverage in your next draft. AI lacks your unique storytelling style, so revise it to add your personal touch, emotions, and insights about your ancestor. If you haven't watched a video, the brief tutorial about how to use AI checkers and what some things you want to look out for, in that video is a couple tips that can help you improve your writing too. Both videos go together. So if you haven't watched that, be sure to wait to the end and I'll link to that video at the end so you can just go straight there. I've said it several times about accuracy problems, so never assume AI-generated historical details are correct. Always cross-check names, dates, location, details, occupation, and pretty much everything that is a fact rather than the language that ties things together. Now, one thing that AI excels at is summarizing details, especially in long passages. You have to supply the details for the tools to summarize if you want the best results. Let's say you've watched a video from Roots Tech about Victorian era funeral customs. And if you haven't watched that video, it is a must watch. It was really cool. I'll leave a link for that for you. Okay, so you watch that video and you want to incorporate these customs into your ancestor's death narrative. Here's how to summarize that information with AI and use it in your family history draft. First, collect all the relevant research details. For example, if you watch that video, you can copy the transcript or take your notes from the video. If you've summarized genealogical facts, compile any birth or death certificates, census records, or family letters that are relevant. So you're going to gather it all into one place, into one file, so that you can go to the next step. Now that you have your research in one file on your computer, paste it into your AI writing tool. AI is excellent at digesting large blocks of text, so it can process the information you've provided. However, if it is an incredibly long set of material, you might want to upload your information in chunks, like 5 pages at a time. I think that's been rather successful. The key is in how you prompt the AI. Instead of simply asking it to summarize everything, be specific about what you want to extract for your family history. For example, summarize this information about Victorian era funeral customs so that I can incorporate these details into my ancestor's death story. Use non-definitive language about what my ancestor may have practiced. Don't make assumptions, but offer possible customs their relatives may have followed. This is a good way to help AI avoid jumping to conclusions. It should give you a summary that sticks closely to the historical context without making it all sound like facts. Once the AI generates a summary, take the time to read through it. Does it capture the essence of the social customs without overcommitting to any specific detail? So AI is a tool, not a perfect family historian. So you might need to tweak the output a little, put it into a separate file from your input file, tweak it there, and then bring it back into the tool you're using. You can also use that input and put it into multiple AI writing tools, see what they come up, put it into that second file, tweak everything together, and then bring it on to the next step. Once you've done all the revising and rewriting, it's time to incorporate the summary information into your draft. You can ask the AI to use the summarized information to extend the context to your ancestor story. Here's a prompt that can help you get the process started. Now that the funeral customs are summarized, please incorporate these details into the draft of my ancestor's death. Here are the verified facts about my ancestor's death. You're going to give them the facts. And I would like you to use them in conjunction with the summary about funeral customs. Now, if AI makes a mistake, you're going to have to revise again to ensure that your voice is there, but at least you can get some ideas of how historical information can be added into a story without it being so boring. I know many people struggle with incorporating social history into their narratives, and so AI can get you started, and then you go and polish the story, which is the next step. This is your family history, so make sure the narrative flows smoothly and feels like you had a hand in it. So AI gives you the framework, but it's your job to add the depth to make the story resonate with your family members. I'm almost done with the tips on AI writing platforms and how to leverage them. So here's my final thoughts. When summarizing events like migrations or historical moments, ask AI to provide a snapshot of what was happening in the world at the time. A prompt could be summarize the historical context of Texas in 1920, particularly regarding agriculture and economy. I like the snapshots that come out. I used this for my German immigrant ancestors, and I was really impressed in how much AI was able to talk about the 1830s, 40s, and 50s, and how German immigrants didn't have a rosy picture of immigration. They faced persecution, they faced discrimination, if they were Catholic, their churches were burning down. It was really, really good. And because I knew this about the German immigrants at that time, I was able to go, oh yeah, that's pretty spot on. But I wanted to then go find some sources to back things up. So it was nice to give a snapshot to know what to try to look for and then go get some sources afterwards. I have been seeing some of the writing tools incorporate sources into their stories. So that's kind of nice. I know Perplexity almost always has some kind of source associated with it, although not all of the sources seem to be spot on. So always go verify what it suggests. So some of these general writing tools are great, but the learning curve might be too much for the writing goals you have. So let me discuss two tools and a category of tools that could help you out. And these ones are specific for genealogy. Noticed you've heard about them on this channel before. Genealogy software programs and the narrative reports. I've talked about that on this channel. I'll link in the description box to the Roots Magic video I made, as well as StoryAssist by Stories. The one I haven't done yet is AI Biographer by MyHeritage. If you would like me to cover that tool, be sure to leave a comment and say something like, yes, do AI Biographer by MyHeritage, and I will give that a try. Now, writing your family history doesn't focus only on drafting and expanding the draft. If you're not a professional writer, then you're probably going to need some assistance from tools like this. My favorite, as you've seen on this channel quite a bit, is Grammarly, but Google Docs Gemini is starting to be incorporated into Google Docs, and it makes it really handy to correct grammar and so forth. Rumor has it there's something similar in Microsoft, but there's another tool called Pro Writing Aid. Now, Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid and some of the grammar tools that are online, they don't write for you, but they help you refine your writing. So paste a paragraph from your story into Grammarly or install Grammarly into your browser and have it work on your online tool. I've also started to see a grammar checker on Notepad, and I haven't figured out where that actually comes from, but the revisions in Microsoft Notepad are happening very similar to Grammarly and to the embedded Google Gemini. So if anybody knows why that is happening, I would love to hear what you have to say. But these are great tools to edit the content for syntax to ensure that people are not turned off by your story because of those grammatical flaws. But it's not perfect, and it's okay if your story isn't perfectly formatted and perfectly syntaxed and so forth. I know I'm not even using correct grammar right now. The point is to get it done and leverage the tools to your best of your ability, and then share these stories with your relatives. Now that you know what tools are available, your next questions are likely these. Should I use AI to write my family history? Well, if you need help overcoming writer block, sure. If you want to improve the readability and grammar, absolutely. If you need to establish a consistent tone for your target audience, then absolutely. If you're trying to use AI writing tools to research your ancestors' life, it's not going to go well. If you're relying on AI to be consistently accurate with facts, you're going to run into some problems. And if you're trying to capture the emotional depth of a personal story, yeah, AI can sometimes try, but it's you who brings the heart and soul to your story writing. So what do you think? Have you tried any AI writing tools for your stories? Did it help or was it frustrating? I know some people have mentioned that they've been fearful, and we've had video commentary on that, but where are you now? Drop a comment below and let's chat about it. If you want more tips on making family history writing easier, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. But if you're ready for the next awesome technique, be sure to check out this video right here.